Okay, so my next topic is exercise 25. And exercise 25 is very important. So I'm going to divide this exercise into two parts. So the section 4.5 is adding the spiciness as a property. We'll need to add a property that will define the spiciness of the pizza topping. So what we are going to do is first we are going to create a new property called has spiciness, right? And then domain, right? Domain of that has spiciness is pizza topping, right? And then the range to be the spiciness. Okay. And then go back to the class tab, select the jalapeno topping, and then we're gonna add the DL description logic axiom called has spiciness value hot. Okay. So let's just do step number 1 and step number 2. Okay, step number 1 is first we're going to create new property called has spiciness. Right? And then the domain should be what? Domain should be topping, right? The pizza topping. And then the range should be the spiciness that we have created in the previous lecture, the spiciness, hot, medium. So this is a enumerated class. That's important, okay? Enumerated class. So that's the range of this has spiciness property. And then once it's done, then go to the classes and then go to jalapeno topping, right? Okay, and then the jalapeno topping is a hot, so we'll just provide that information, right? So the jalapeno topping has hot value. Okay, so go to the subclass and then class. I'll just use a class editor, and then has spiciness. Okay, now type value hot. You know the value, as you can see, this is a keyword. Okay, then hot. So click OK. So okay, I'm done with part 1. I mean the step number 1 and step number 2. So let me just explain. So I'll just save it. Okay, so let me just explain up to this point. Just go back to the object property, right? Has spiciness, right? So has spiciness. As you can see, the domain is pizza topping and the range is spiciness. The domain is always the left side of the property, right? So this is what? Pizza topping. So there has to be a pizza topping here. And it has spiciness, and the right side has to be spiciness. Right? So the example, since the left side has to be the pizza topping, for example, jalapeno with the green pepper or maybe olive, could be any topping, has spiciness. You know, since spiciness is what is an enumerated class, right? So it only can be represented by its value. So it has what? Like has spiciness in a value hot, like like here it could be hot and it could be mild, or it could be medium. And here it could be any pizza topping, like jalapeno, red pepper, olives, and like any topping, right? Has spiciness. So that's we create has spiciness to gives this this level, right? The level of hotness to a pizza topping. So that's the main purpose of creating this property. As now go back to the class, right? Go back to class. Now the jalapeno topping has what? Is a subclass of has spiciness value hot. Okay, so meaning that, and then also is a subclass of pepper topping. So this is like and, right? So subclass of this and is a subclass of pepper topping. So let me just draw the diagram. So this has, that is what the property restrictions represent a class, right? And this one has spiciness value hot. Okay, value hot. And now let's just take a look at this expression. We usually have property restrictions, and then you usually have some or only, right? And then we have a class name. Example is has topping, some vegetable topping. Now has topping, like example is like has topping, right? And then only like meat topping or only cheese topping and etc. Right? So we have a class name here. But you know that has spiciness, right? For the range, we have enumerated class, right? That's we defined in the previous step, right? Enumerated class, the range, right? As a range. So we cannot just use the class name, and we cannot use some or only. Instead, we have to use what? We have to use a keyword called value, right? And then since the keyword is a value, you have to use the instance name or the individual name, either hot or the medium or the mild, right? The medium or the mild. Okay, so that's value and hot, right? We no longer use some and only because range is going to be enumerated class. Okay, so that's why we use a value and the specific value, right? Hot, medium, and mild, right? So that's the class. And then we have pepper topping, right? That's a subclass. So we have a pepper topping. Here we have pepper topping. Right? So this is connected by and, right? So this is what? This is the jalapeno topping. So jalapeno topping is what? Is a subclass of pepper topping and, okay, this is and, a class whose spiciness is hot. Okay, so the jalapeno topping is, of course, has a spiciness hot, right? Okay, okay. So that's like a step number 1 and step number 2. Okay, I'll talk about step number 3 and then 4, 5, and 6 in my next lecture. Okay, so I know this is not an easy concept, so please yes, just please stop. If you don't understand, stop my video, right, and pause my video, right, and then just read this lecture note and then come back and etc. Okay, so in my next lecture, I'm going to talk about step number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thank you.